What is up, folks? Thank you so much. Jamming already, right? I love that comment. Thank you, Teresa Nordstrom. Yes. Scoot back a little bit, get the camera in focus here. What is up, folks? Thank you so much, guys, for joining me on, of course, this Tuesday evening, rocking it out like we always do. First, if this is your first time following on the show, thank you so much. We are streaming live across Facebook on our Facebook group, my personal page, on Twitter, and as Twitch as well, and Instagram. We do a separate thing on Instagram. You can check us out all there at MFSB Live. So if you go to Facebook, Twitter, you can check us out there. It's just MFSB Live. Thank you so much. We are also streaming live on our YouTube page. You can check out our YouTube channel, where we always love for you to go there. And if you're watching on YouTube, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell, let you know whenever we do go live, whenever we do schedule new lives, and whenever we drop new content on the channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. And of course, we are streaming live on LinkedIn. So thank you guys so much. First of all, I wanted to start by saying Tuesday night is getting to be a very busy night, and a lot of good content on a lot of other streams. Again, I'm a big proponent of watching other people's streams. So I used to, excuse me one more time, let's get back a little bit. I used to stream live at 7 Central Standard Time last season. I kind of changed it a little bit to about 7:30, 7. Tuesdays, I kind of push it back a little bit, and I'll tell you why. There's 3 different live streams that come on that have really good shows, really good content, that come on right at 7 o'clock. And I kind of enjoy taking in those kind of shows. So Dana Bentz does her live stream at 7. Tonight she had on a really good guest, a gentleman named Eddie Garrison, really big in the live streaming community. If you don't know who Eddie is, please connect with him. He's a really class act, really cool dude. And again, I was watching their content, and then of course, Cher Jones does her Tuesday night show at 7 o'clock as well. Really great content, professional setup that she does. I love the way she does her show, the way she talks about it. So that is unique to her. I don't think anybody else can do it like she does. Thank you, Lori. Lori's here. Thank you, always. Gosh. And of course, my dear friend and friend of the show, Annie Lieb, does her Living with Annie Too Live. So she had her friend Dana Morgan on this evening, and they were having a really good conversation. So I was kind of taking in all 3 of those streams like right at 7 o'clock, right? And let me sorry guys, I'm trying to fix the camera view a little bit for Instagram. So if anybody's watching on Instagram, you get the full view of just me, baby. But again, it was really good. It's really good to see all these people streaming live now. And of course, I think everybody who follows the show here, I know I'm a big proponent of it. So yeah, it's cool. I know a lot of those people. So yes, I love to show up and support them and engage in their content as much as I possibly can before I have to get ready to jump on here. So again, thank you so much for everybody who's joining here as well. So of course, Teresa Nordstrom's here. She was a guest on the show. God, and it's been a while, so I need to reconnect with and of course, Lori shows up here just about all the time. But tonight I wanted to talk about a little bit of different topic because I was on somebody else's live show as well today. So a former guest, her name is Betta Swearing Reed, and she has her own live stream to Facebook. And she invited me on a while back, so we actually did the interview today, which was pretty fun. It was really good stuff. She had a lot of great questions. And again, it's always fun to be on the other side of the chair, right? Sitting in this position and asking questions, it can be daunting a little bit, but again, you kind of know where you're going with the direction of how you want to kind of lead the guest. Whereas when you're a guest on somebody else's shows, especially if it's like free flow conversation, the questions just come, and you sitting there thinking about the answers. So she had a lot of really good questions, and it was something that I love taking part in now. So yeah, I kind of like being in a hot seat a little bit. That was kind of fun. So I sent out quite a few invitations yesterday. Got some that who've already settled in, picked their date to book to come on. And I have another round of invitations that I'm going to send out later tonight. I'm putting together some small little repurposed content, some of the stuff from first season and some of the stuff I've done already this second season with a few other people that have been on here. So a lot of things in the works that I'm really trying to put together, spending time on doing that. And then a couple other projects that I've been, yes. So the title of it, and that's what I was saying. So the title of tonight's show is Happiness is a Color. Why do I say that? Right? And I've said this a few times on the air. Happiness can be the simplest thing. And to a child, it can be sitting down with a color, a crayon, and coloring. It can make them the happiest thing in the world. And that's how simple it is sometimes to look at the way we seek happiness. So if you want to know my favorite color, you're kind of seeing it a little bit in everything that I do. So if you notice the black, right, black hat, kind of black background, black lettering, I love black, but I also love to see it intermingle with different colors. So that's why, like, I love to see a different myriad of colors kind of accentuates what you, how you express yourself, right? Black is my favorite color, but again, I love to see it with a bright, like, look at my thing. It's like a really bright pink. I like that, right? I like the mixture of the bright colors that pop and then having something as dark as black, because again, that's what makes me happy, right? I love the color black. So I don't know, you guys have a favorite color? Drop it down in the comments. I would love to know. That's pretty cool to figure out. I think there's some kind of study somewhere. I gotta look at it with picking a color. Kind of, I don't know. You know how they do the research on stuff like this, like what kind of color you pick tells you kind of like what kind of person you are, your personality. It's kind of crazy. So that's kind of it's kind of cool to see those sort of things. And I forgot about that, Laura. You're an artist, so you know about color, right? So your color matches green. That's right. And yeah, you know what? I do like kind of like a dark forest green. It's kind of cool. My wife hates it, but that's just me. But like I was saying, one of the best things about it is when you start looking for happiness and those moments of happiness that you find in your life, right? Sometimes you can unearth them with the simplest thing. And wow, Groven, Treason. That's a new one, buddy. Treason is a treaty. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense, right? So there's the other comment. There it goes. It's a treaty. So, but again, like I was saying, it is cool, right? To see whenever you find something that really makes you happy. It can be the smallest, simplest thing. And sometimes for some people, it's like, well, I don't have the right partner, right? Well, you know what? It might be hanging out. Sometimes it might be just hanging out with a good friend, talking to a good friend, getting stuff that we worked hard, yes, to get. Okay. That's pretty cool. But again, like I was saying, it's kind of it's fun, right? That whenever we find those little moments, right, and keep them up here in our minds, right? To me, like I said, sometimes the smallest things bring the biggest joys and moments. So, like on an early, crisp, cool morning, when the coffee that I'm drinking it is just perfectly on point. Oh, you want to talk about happiness? That's joy for me. Um, you know, that was oh, fuck. Oh, okay. Well, you know what we say about here, guys. We take all comers here. Every other show probably might run from that. Not me. It's fun. Again, happiness, right? Smallest things, smallest little things like comment like that. I love this. Uh, but again, back to the point, right? When you find those moments, when you do those things in life, and you really those little things that you can always go back to. Like I said, sometimes like I was just saying, really cool morning, you get that cup of coffee, it's perfectly hot the way you like it. Um, Everything just blends well, right? Um, and I again, that can bring the biggest smile on my face. I'll just be happy as a lark and smile away whenever I get something is something like that, right? Smallest cup of coffee, and yes, good evening, Gabriel. Happiness is a color. Yeah, what a concept. Book, film, and a series, right? That's what I'm saying, right? Happiness is a color. That's why I equate it to that because I've seen my kids give the biggest smiles on their face when they get the color that they want out of the color box, the crayon box, right? Going to town, biggest smile. They're happy. They're not anything and everything in the world that's going on all around them does not affect their mood, their personality in that moment. And that's why I say I equate it to that. I equate it to being a color, right? Because again, that's what I'm trying to say is the smallest joys, right? Smallest things like that bring you the happiness. Enough of those in your day, and you got a really great day, right? Enough of those in a life, right? You'll have a really great life. And it's pretty simple. I think we overcomplicate things when we talk about happiness, right? Um, Happiness again. So yes, at the time. Sometimes we look back and we go, "Oh, we were happy." Yes, Wendy, exactly. So it's those moments, right? It's that time. It's that again, that little thing that you know, eating your favorite food, right? Going to your favorite restaurant, whatever it is, sitting down and putting that piece of food, or if it is a candy that takes you back to being a kid, or whatever it is, that joy, right? Um, Capturing that and keeping that in your life and remembering those. That's why I say that's what it's like for me. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are the same way. I tell people, stop and smell the roses. Take the time, right? Thank you, Miss. Oh, in the presence of greatness is a matter of fact. Miss Kristen A. Sherry, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you. Maximize 365. Your team loves Mondays. UMAP. What? She's been a guest here on the show with Wendy. Wendy Gahula. And you got gifts. Another great. Again, the happiness, the moments. So seeing Kristen A. Sherry here just made my heart go flutter, flutter, flutter. Happy, 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 joy, joy, joy. Love it. But again, that's what we want to collect in life. I think that's what we chase. I mean, whenever people talk about happiness, right? You know, it's you're digging for fool's goals if you think everything in life can be happiness. You're going to have moments of dark time. Even, I mean, we all at one point will have to face death in our lives. So even then, we got to be on the other end of the scale, the other part of the spectrum. But again, it's remembering those happiness moments that, like, even in death, that make us smile. We think about what we did with somebody, right? So that was one of the things, like when my father passed away. Um, Thinking back in the memories and the stories that he told, and those things, and that was pure joy. That was happiness. Um, and you go, I love that. To me, that's part of it. Um, Stimulates one sense. Yeah, hear a word and they see a color, and yes, see, there's actually. I need to look that up. I want to investigate that because this fascinates me. It fascinates me that color, right? Um, and it's funny that way that we operate and that we see color. Um, I watched I was watching a video in Neil Tyson Degrassi, guys. If you don't know who he is, check him out. Uh, he was talking about color and how we see color and how it actually reflects back to us, right? He's pretty much saying that color is white, right? Is one solid color. Color is white. But what we see is what reflects back, what doesn't get taken in, right? So everything is the same. So it's like a color spectrum. It's going red, blue, yellow, green. So if it rejects the color, that's what our eyes see, right? So that's why an apple will look red. And it's pretty interesting to, wow, somebody's calling me in the middle of a live stream. I wonder if anybody else have that ever happen. Duh. Should have known to put that on mute again. Sorry, guys. But again, it's God, that's so interesting, Wendy. I'm glad you shared that. But again, it was an interesting concept when I looked at it. And it's color, right? And again, it is seeing that and what reflects back. So when we get what we want and we see that, we go, wow, that's incredible. Um, you know, like the whole thing that went on with people were seeing two different colors from that dress a while back. It was a big thing on the internet. People couldn't tell there was one color, there was another color. You know, seeing that and thinking about it, and I was thinking to myself, what does that matter? If you're wearing a dress and you like it, why not? It's cool. That's what should make you happy. Screw what color people think it is. Are you happy in it? Happiness, yeah. Simon, thank you. Happiness is a choice. So that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Is happiness is a choice, and guess what? The choice you pick is, again, can be the color of anything. That's why I said kids have the greatest imagination. That's why I said we should take more from them as far as how we perceive things in life as adults. We forget that. I was watching this whole thing about it was the World Science Festival, I think it was, and they were talking about neuroplasticity, and they had a lot of the foremost experts on it talking about what it is and how the mind can actually, be retrained. And, as a kid, when we learn these things and we learn what it is in our minds, they tend to stay there, right? Because, again, they talk about it operating when you're a child between the ages of 1 through 7, you're operating at a lower brain wave, right? So you're at a theta brainwave, right? And it's kind of equated to be under hypnosis, excuse me, right? So seeing that and hearing them talking about it and how it's actually something you can get into as an adult, it's a fascinating concept to retrain ourselves, retrain our minds. I mean, it makes perfect sense. We retrain ourselves in a lot of other things, right? We can retrain our bodies, right? We can retrain our bodies to accept certain things. We can become healthier. We can, we can become sicker if we allow our bodies to. It's the same sort of deal, right? Yes. So interesting about the dress, right? How will people get upset that they didn't see you? Yes. It created arguments. And that's what's crazy, right? It's crazy to think about this. Um, but again, to be able to change, right? And I think that's what it is. That's why, like, if you see what Kristen does in her books, and I think it kind of, even with what she's written, right? It kind of unintentionally sends people into what neuroplasticity is, changing a lot of the things that they see, believe, hear, think, and it kind of sets you on that path of retraining. So it's like anything, right? I mean, our bodies, how we operate, how our minds and brains operate, how our synapses and everything else can again, it's crazy to think this. It took us so long to figure this out. Now, they were talking about that the first time that they've actually had somebody written about neuroplasticity was back in 1890, but they didn't know the science of it was, but they kind of wrote it out. But it was kind of cool, right? Um, so it's crazy to think about that we have fought this for so long. Oh, did a painting today. There you go. Look at that. Started with blue and yellow, turned into palm tree. Happiness. Sure. I love that. You know, so I think there's a lot of things that we can retrain ourselves. Again, I've always said, be a big proponent of mental health wellness. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? So having a mental health wellness program in place should be just as important as having a good dietary plan in place, right? A good exercise regimen in place, right? You want to keep everything healthy and operating on all cylinders, right? I think once you start doing those sort of things and incorporating it, our minds think differently. That's when we can I think that's where we really open up the opportunities to find those moments of happiness a lot more. They come easier. You're able to see them because you're operating at a different level, again, at a different brainwave, right? Um, and it's again, it's 35 years. You can do a push-up. Yeah, you can do push-ups on your desk while you broadcast. Yes, I could if I had. Maybe I do once I get everything mobile, right? Um, and but again, it is something that you do. For me, it was learning to retrain a lot of the things. And I had a foot injury. It's been over 2.5, almost 2.5 years ago, right? And I'm going to tell you what, when I first started walking again, it was tough going through therapy. I did suffer muscle loss a little bit because I didn't walk on my foot for almost 6 months, right? And I had to literally retrain a lot of what I did. And, but again, it talks about how we operate as humans and what we can do and what our bodies can do, right? The limitations, all that stuff. I think you can really work past, right? And it's incredible what we do. So I think it's the same thing with finding joy in your life and finding happiness, right? You can retrain yourself to look for that, to find that, to try to um, look again, highlight those moments in your life, right? You just look for them. Like Wendy was saying earlier, it's it always seems funny that we find it in retrospect, right? Living in the now, living in the moment. That's the hard part in seeing that you're in those moments, right? I know I've had plenty of them. I think about them. Hey, when I was a kid, dude, when I used to go, me and my brothers would just, do play basketball for hours or go out. I mean, those to me were moments of real joy and happiness because I didn't think about anything else. I just thought about what it was in the moment. But I didn't know that those were my moments of happiness. I just thought we were just playing football. or playing basketball. And it was more than that. I look back on those now and I cherish it. And I go, wow, that was it. So when I tell everybody take the time to stop and smell the roses, yeah. So, I hope that everybody out there, even in this time of COVID-19 and doing all this craziness that we've had to deal with, right? There's still those moments, even on the bad days. There's still those moments of happiness. Just remember, man, it's again, it can be the simple things to think about. Look at your kids. To me, a lot of the times that was a saving grace. That was a moment of happiness I could never get back as soon as I walked in the door. Didn't matter how bad the day was. You hear them screaming and hollering like you're a rock star, and they can't wait to get home, and it's screaming and madness. It's like the best feeling in the world. You're like, okay, everything else just goes away, right? Get up next morning, hit the reset button, you get another 86,400 grains of sand to go through the hourglass again and do it again. Try something else. Be happy. Right? I saw that. I need to check that out. I saw that on I think it was on the news feed on AOL talking about the moon, or not moon, the Mars. That again, it's fascinating, right? Look up at, because you think about what we think we're seeing, right? We might think we're seeing Mars, but traveling at the speed of light, whatever we're going to see tonight, by the time we actually lay our eyes on it, it's already happened. That's how fast the speed of light travels. What we're seeing is already seeing something in the past. Think about that, right? What we see was only what we were able to take in from the reflection that comes back to us, right? So whatever we're seeing tonight has already, when you look up at it, by the time you get your eyes glazed at it, it's already actually happened. You're looking at something from the past. But we're in the moment, right? It's just the perception of what it is and what we see. Again, equating it to happiness is a color. Our perception and what we see. Seeing a little kid be happy with the book, with the box of crayons, is one of the coolest joys for me in the world. Because again, I think to myself, you know what? They're not thinking about anything else. They're not thinking about the homework they got to do, or what they have to go take care of all the things that are going on in the world. If I got to take a bath later, what am I going to eat? None of that stuff. It all goes out the window. All that's in front of them is the paper, the color, and their imagination. Right? If we did that, concentrated on that more, how far could we really go as humans? And to me, that's what's pretty incredible, is that we still get the opportunity every day to do this. We get the opportunity to go find our happiness. Like Simon was saying, it was a choice. Yes, it is a choice. You wake up every morning, you can choose to be happy, no matter what happens. Right? Go to work, I got fired. Cool. What's going to change? By being angry and frustrated. Guess what? The sun's got to get up tomorrow. The sun's going to come up tomorrow. Or I mean, not the sun's going to come up. I need to stop saying that. It's not the truth. We will rotate around to the point where the sun looks like it's coming up to us. The sun doesn't move. We are the ones that actually move around it. But again, perception. We perceive that we're the center of the universe. And it's not true. We aren't the center of the universe. Right? And that's a misconception we always say. Oh, sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Well, true, that's true perspective. But depends on what perspective you're from, So I just like to point out those little things because, again, I've been watching a lot about this and just learning about more about how we operate and what we say and what we perceive and all of these things and what our perception can actually do for us, And I love that. Thank you, Lori. Making other people happy makes me happy. And sometimes it's just that simple, folks. It can be just that simple. We overcomplicate a lot of things, right? We overcomplicate things that should be pretty simple by throwing in our own misconceptions, throwing in our own insecurities, throwing in our own fears. We make things so much harder. I mean, that's the definition of what procrastination is. I know I procrastinated for a very long time. And in some instances, yes, I'm still procrastinating, right? So it's the simplest thing sometimes when you lay it out and just do what you really want to do and to really take action. And again, I love the fact that I get to do this every single night. This is my happiness, right? I mean, I literally learned this about myself when I took time away. First couple of weeks, it was cool to say, oh, yeah, I didn't have the thing of having to do this all the time. But then I started to miss it. Started to see other people's shows, started to think about, what was I really missing? What was it? It was this. It was. So, yeah, man. Thank you, Lori. Great reminder, right? What it can be. What? No. But again, that's what it is. That's what life is about. So, I got somebody watching on Instagram. That's happiness. I don't know who's watching, but somebody's watching. So if you're watching on Instagram, hey, thank you so much. And everybody else who's been watching, again, thank you so much. Want to get in, give a shout out to everybody who comes and becomes a part of this community, and shares what they want to do. So tonight, just a big shout out to Teresa Nordstrom again for commenting there on the music. I do appreciate that. Zainab, that's who it is. I was wondering who was watching. So Zainab, I need to get in contact with you. I need to really get into Toastmasters. I know that was one of the things that I'm talking about tonight, procrastinating, right? And I really need to push myself in there. So I've been trying to, and again, no, I'm not trying to. I am getting to that point where I need to get in there and start presenting myself and doing the things that I talk about doing. So, yes, I need to get in contact with you, Zainab. Thank you so much. And I met Zainab actually through Dave Bricker, who was a guest on the show. Great guy, great speaker. I need to get in contact with him as well. He was a really good guest. I love what he had to share. He's written quite a few books. Really inspirational, really motivational sort of guy. So, but again, like I was saying to everybody else who's been part of this one, who's been commenting and has been a part of the show, shows up here every night. Like I was saying, Teresa Nordstrom, she's been on the show. You can go check out her interview that we had from season 1 on YouTube. Wendy Weiner-Runge, she's been on the show. I had her and Amy Blatchko on at the same time. That was a really great interview. I love those two ladies. Two really difference makers who, go out there and help other people out and make their lives better and share really good content. And I love that. So I want to thank them so much. Lori, thank you, Lori. Again, Lori shows up just about every night. I know sometimes it's hard to show up every night, but I do appreciate her. I've actually sent her an invitation to hopefully come on the show. Um, and of course, Kristen A. Sherry, great author. She's been on the show. She was actually on the show with Wendy Gahula who was guest hosting, who I'm in talks to bring her back to guest host again. So that was a great interview. Love that. Love both those ladies. And Kristen, again, she's all over LinkedIn, Facebook. You can check her out. Again, check out her books. You Got Gifts, kids book that she just wrote. Maximize 365 was another one of her books that she released, I think, this year. She did Your Team Loves Mondays, which is another one, and then her UMAT book. So, yeah, she's making impact, really bringing it forward. So, and then, and for what it's worth, Groven, thank you, Groven Wong. He does bring, he does bring a kind of different level of madness that I enjoy. I can't pull up all the comments all the time, but some of them are really, really it is what it is, guys. But it's really cool. Love that. And of course, Lori brings her blonde joke of the day. Why did the blonde climb the chain link fence? Love that answer. Love the joke. So, thank you. Thank you, everybody who's been a part of this one. You guys rock. Thank you for the laughs, Lori. And of course, thank you, Zaynep, for watching on Instagram. Again, you will love Toastmasters and finding time. Yes, cool. Thank you so much. I will be in touch. And I've watched some of your videos as well, Zaynep. I've just been really, really trying to get a lot of things figured out, which they're actually coming into place a lot more now. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this one. Check out Mars if you guys get the opportunity tonight. I don't know if you guys have a telescope. Those who do, you're lucky. If not, at least you get to look up at the stars. Beautiful night anyway to do. So thank you so much, guys. Sleep with the angels, you too. I will be back here tomorrow evening, 7:30 Central Standard Time. You guys know the drill. Stay safe. Stay blessed. We'll get through this together. And good night, everybody.